are in a race between education and catastrophe.
The knowledge.
Hey, welcome to Hub Talk. This week we're going to talk to you about the AASP Northeast Trade Show from New Jersey, what's up with Yelp help for collision repair, and what's new with the Repair University episodes released this month. As many of you know, we've just gotten back from the AASP show in New Jersey, where we had a chance to interact with some of the industry, shoot a few new episodes, do some interviews. Liz, let's talk about it. How was the AASP show?
You know, Kristen, I had a blast at the AASP show. One of the things that was really a highlight for me is Larry Montanez is always a rock star from P&L Consultants. Whenever he talks and whenever he trains, I always just get light bulbs going off like crazy. And he did a training class on the show floor in the car liner booth that was just phenomenal. And you know, we were lucky enough to get that on tape, which we'll talk about in a minute, but that was definitely a highlight for me. So
yeah, for me, what I enjoy about that show is there's lots of localized repairers, lots of independent repairers there versus what we typically see with a lot of the multi-stores operators and some of the chains that are around. So it's always a great time to visit with some shops. A lot of technicians come by, so I get my technician feel, talking a little bit of repair, so that was great. You know, we've been traveling a lot lately, talking a lot about social media, doing a lot of training. Our social media rehab class is picking up. But everywhere we go, we've started to get Yelp questions, and you've kind of taken that on. So let's talk a little bit about Yelp help for collision repairers.
Absolutely, Kristen. So the first thing really to know is that Yelp is just growing monumentally. It's becoming one of the hugest customer review sites out there. And because of its mobile app, it's getting just phenomenal growth, and it's also something that consumers are using for collision repair now. Consumers are actually going out there and they're searching out information, and they're also leaving feedback about the shop that they used. So it's super important, first and foremost, that you make sure that you have a presence out there, and if there's one already there, you make sure you get control of it. So that's, you know, that's what I call claiming your page, and that means getting out there and setting definition around that page, and that allows you to actually interact with those customers so you don't just have reviews, positive or negative, out there spinning without response. So that's tip number one for sure, is claiming that page. Number two on my list is to geolocate. Make sure that you're defining the actual geographic location of your shop right away. Get your address in there, and that way when people go into Yelp and they're searching in a certain region, they find you and not your competition. And that definitely makes you move up also in Google ranking and SEO, so definitely something you want to stay on top of. The third really big thing is keep it visual. Yelp allows you to upload pictures. You can do pictures of your front of your store so people know what they're looking for, or people in your company, all kinds of different opportunities. Also, you know, in the back of the shop, there's always cool things there, so it helps draw in attention to be more engaging. And then number four on my list is definitely ask for that review. Don't just, you know, expect people to go out there and post about you. Put stickers on your door, put signs up on your counter, but let people know that it's out there. I would discourage doing too much aggressive polling of people, because that seems a little bit stilted and Yelp watches for that. But definitely, you know, offer up that opportunity and suggest it to people. Whether it's positive or negative, it's still an opportunity to have a conversation. And if you want to know more about Yelp for Business and Yelp for Collision Repair, I wrote a blog article recently that's on our website. It's on my blog site. It's also on ABRN, which is definitely a great place to look for repair information and ways to improve your business. So check that out, and it's got a really detailed guide for you.
Yeah,
so.
Here's the thing to remember, guys. Whether you want to be on Yelp or not, it doesn't really matter, because your customers can review you anyway. So you might as well get out there, claim those pages, and at least take some ownership. That way, when you are reviewed, you'll at least get an email that says you've been reviewed. You may have something to respond to.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we came back from New Jersey with 3 amazing episodes of Repair University, and in fact, one of the episodes spawned off to a part 2. So we really came back with 4 episodes of Repair University, which was great for us for a month. So we had Doug Gann come on from Airbag Solutions and talk about airbags and estimating. So there's lots of things going on out there right now that you may not be aware of, things that aren't in the matrix. You know, when we talk about the matrix, or we talk about the head notes and footnotes within our estimating system, there's a lot of stuff there, and Airbag Solutions talked us through it, told us what some of the main things were, and then told us about their product as well. So if you don't know much about it, please watch that episode. I think you're going to be surprised at what all's out there and how the estimating systems are really letting us down these days with what's included. And then Larry Montanez, you talked about him earlier. Larry came on and we did 2 classes with us. So we did a triage for collision repair, where we were actually on the floor within the car liner booth. We had a car on the bench. We were doing some measurements and talking about how to triage a car when it comes in. So just like in an emergency room, when a patient comes in, triage is all about deciding what's the worst injury, what has to be fixed first, and then getting a plan around that. And that's how we need to be doing our estimating. Let's go deep in first. I know a lot of us go, oh, I need a headlight, but let's go all the way in and work ourselves back out, which is the best. And then we had OEM repair procedures versus industry standards. Now that's a hot debate, folks.
Topic, big time.
Everybody seems to be putting out a theory. There's webinars, there's a CIC committee. We're all debating industry standards versus OEM procedures and which one do we go with and why. Well, Larry really broke it down in a 2-part class at the show, and he went through OEM recommendations, repair procedures, and talked about really from his perspective as an industry expert, a recreationist, what it would take to come in for somebody, a third party, to actually do industry standards. So they're great classes. Record, kind of got record
viewership on
those.
Taking off. I've been really excited.
We're seeing about 9,000-10,000 people so far sit down and watch Repair University.
Definitely something you don't want to miss. It's something that sets you ahead of the competition and keeps you up to date, and it's free, which is always a plus. So I love that part of it. But where can we find those if people are looking for those episodes?
Yeah, well, Repair University, you're always going to find it on collisionhub.com, and then it's out on YouTube as well. And then starting this week, we'll be releasing those episodes onto the ABRN website, and they're going to be going up in parts. So you'll see Triage Part 1 and 2, and you'll see Repair University OEM procedures will actually come out in 4 parts. So that way it gets up on there on that site. So you'll want to devour that. How do we eat the elephant? One bite at a time. So devour that training there for you. So that's it for Hub Weekly. It's been a packed week for us. We're on our way out. So we may have an exciting remote location for them next week with some tips that could be very interesting. So be watching for where we are next week. Follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere you want to find us, we will be there. Look for our blogs. Look for the Hub, the magazine on social media and consulting. Subscribe to it. Get all of our tips and tricks every month. All right?
Sounds good.
We're good. See you next week.
The knowledge.